I was quite surprised when I stepped into the room, because since a lot of people joke with me about how much I know a lot of people on campus, I was surprised when I came in how many people I did not know who were going on this trip.
Well, it was really cool because I signed up on the trip not knowing anybody at all. And so a lot of people would ask me, oh, do you know anybody going on the trip? I was like, no, I just signed up. But everybody was so nice, and I met so many people that I probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to otherwise. And it's great because now I just see more faces around campus, and it's more people to say hi to and all that.
This was really a trip about immersion and really understanding someone else's plight or experience different from your own. That's not a tour. That's not a touristy tour. That's definitely an educational moment that I wish more students would take advantage of.
How did visiting the Evergreen Plantation affect your experience overall?
I could not explain the feeling that came over my body when we got there. It was indescribable. Like, I explained to my mom that I felt like we had entered into a place that had just stopped in time.
The strangest thing about it was how pretty and serene it was, and then thinking about the terrible things that happened there. Like, it was a weird contrast to think about the past and how it is now.
It's very emotional to stand there, and it's almost as if spirits were present.
One of the most important parts of the trip was being in the kitchen. When we were at that plantation, the kitchen where like the slave women would be forced to be there all day. They weren't even allowed to leave, not even to go to the restroom. And the coal was not turned on, the stoves were not turned on. But just being in there for like 3 minutes, we were already sweating. We felt like we were suffocating.
And I think one of the professors made the observation of the different weather kind of that we experienced while on there, it being super hot and then rainy and then the mosquitoes.
Even though we were sitting there walking around and it was so hot, and as bad as I wanted to say, oh my God, it is so hot out here, like, I made sure I didn't say anything, because to me, in that moment, in that location, it just would have been disrespectful.
When Antrice, the professor from Houston, said when the rain started, keep walking. The slaves didn't have umbrellas. They had to keep working. They had to keep walking. And it blew my breath away to see how you all responded to that. You kept walking, and you were getting hit by big drops of water, small drops of water, but you just kept going.
The other thing was seeing the slave quarters. Just knowing the fact that those were the same slave quarters that had been there since the plantation had been there was amazing. Looking to the buildings and realizing that 2 families stayed in something that small, like, it hit me so much.
Stand at that one, you think of, for me, I thought of like 1 family or 2 families in that case, right? But then when you're walking down that road and there's 22, then in my mind, I felt the spirit of a lot more people and a lot more children.
We complain so much about all the stuff that we have or that we don't have. And they just had not even half of a space to live in.
I think trips like these are valuable for students because you can study everything that you want in a book. And I've read about slavery in so many books and watched it in movies, and you can hear about it and read poems about it. But being there in the place where it actually happens, that's the first time that like my mind was able to embrace like that at one point in our history, slavery was something that was considered normal. It was considered a part of everyday life, and it doesn't really hit you until you're there and you're seeing like this place in real life, and that makes you question what is normal and what isn't normal.
I'm the guy who was going around filming throughout the entire trip, and currently I'm in the process of editing this entire project. I don't know how common it is for filmmakers to come out in their own documentaries, but I know I wanted to just because I wanted to emphasize how grateful I am to everyone who came out and welcomed us into the Lower Ninth Ward and into the Guerrilla Gardens. Not only did we have the opportunity to plant trees, but we also got to meet y'all, local residents who had gone through and witnessed the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. And as a student, that's such an invaluable experience because it's something that I will never forget. This is my second time going, and by far, this trip has been so much better just because of the integration of the community aspect. There's just really no way to say how grateful I am and how every other student feels. So yeah.
The community aspect was important. We wanted to, in a way, you know, talk to people who experience it, not just get all of our information from documentaries or, you know, just from a former politician's point of view. We wanted to have, like, one of the things that Jenga said was we don't believe in having one single spokesperson. And so when we look for a community service activity, we wanted that community aspect. That was a big thing, and so they were already doing that, and we just wanted to kind of plug in and share that with students because that's just so important to see neighborhoods not just as this opportunity for you to jump in and help, but to already see what's already there, the rich culture, the rich history, the variety of people.
We're a city of resilience. You know, we're a pretty resilient city, man. You can see people who struggle but love this city so much that they came back despite knowing all of the corrupted politicians, knowing that a lot of things weren't going to go right for your neighborhood. It's really all about the people, man, and the people here in this city are good people.
So the Guerrilla Garden was actually a blighted lot. Even before Katrina, it was empty, it was vacant. But one of our neighbors who lives down the street, who's a container gardener, used to throw seeds on this lot before Katrina and just enjoy watching people come and harvest what he grew. And he called himself a guerrilla gardener. And so we started calling this the Guerrilla Garden, just, you know, because of that connection. So the idea of guerrilla gardening is like just growing things and planting things in places that are empty and usually blighted. It's extremely important for us that the focus of our work is community. Number one, because that's what this neighborhood is all about. You know, the Lower Ninth Ward is a very long tradition of having like a close-knit community. But the reason that I really wanted to make sure that we worked with y'all was, one, because y'all was studying about the slave trade and the connection between New Orleans and Haiti, and I think that's really important, and we really wanted to be a part of that. And also because it was very clear that you wanted to connect with community.
So I just, from the bottom of my heart, very briefly, I want to say thank you to everyone who came out, including Jenga, Aristide Phillips, Legendre and Amanda, Sister Princess and Curtis, and everyone else whose names I did not catch. And just really thank you for sharing your experiences with us. It's something that I hold very dearly. I know at times I felt like this guy waving a camera around, but I really did it because I wanted to show how much I care and how great it'd be if we could actually go again.
So, I mean, the whole trip was great. I really hope that TCU continues to support cultural trips like this, you know, for the future to come, because it's very necessary. I mean, it's nice for us to get out of our TCU bubble and to experience what I call the real world. I never thought of New Orleans as French and Spanish, even though like they were colonized by like the French and the Spanish at one point. So being there in the French quarters, on one side you see like a urban regular city, and then like you step just one block away and it's like you completely different place. You're not even, it doesn't even seem like you're in the United States anymore. And it's really great because it reinforces the idea that the United States is not just one thing, like you know, like the idea that the United States is made up of a lot of different ethnicities, and New Orleans is like a great depiction of that.
When we designed this trip, by design, by intention, we didn't want it to be drive-by. We didn't want to just be tourists on a bus that zoomed in and zoomed out and saw a few things and went back home. From the very beginning, we've been trying to build relationships in New Orleans, long-term relationships with people like Ann Duplessis, former two-term state senator from Louisiana, with people like Dr. Roseanne Adderley, who's an expert on the Atlantic slave trade, with the Amistad Research Center.
I was familiar with the case coming in because I've seen the movie, so I had a general idea about it. So holding the letter from the freedmen of the Amistad written to John Quincy Adams was just really, really cool experience for me.
People that we could go back to year after year and really build relationships and go deeper with those relationships. And you just can't get those types of experiences if you're tourists on a bus. So we've made a very long-term commitment to New Orleans and to the Ninth Ward.
Go on this trip. If you ever have a chance to go on this trip, go on this trip. Do not let anything like money or other obligations stop you. Go on this trip. It will change the way you view everything you think you know about the things you think you know. Yeah.